Welcome to My Psychic Connections, where we have in-depth discussions about many popular mystical topics and interview with gifted practitioners from all walks of life.
Well, good evening and welcome to My Psychic Connection. I am your host, Journey Ryan. I am here with the wonderful Miss Holly and Miss Marin. Marin, how are you? Holly, how's it going?
Hello. Hi.
Hey, I'm doing great.
Well,
Thank you.
Yes, we've been talking about the show again all week long, telling everybody about the Dream Interpreter we got going on and getting everybody psyched for your show. And and we had a really great discussion last week. I was so excited to, hear all the information that you had to share with us. And, it was very interesting. I'm very happy to be able to share this with everybody else. And, hey, Melissa.
Hey, Melissa.
So, doing a shout out to those that are on Facebook and on YouTube. When they say hey, we say hey back. And, we try to talk to everybody. So if you guys have a question about dreams and would like to, maybe you see something in a dream and you have a question about it. So, I see this reoccurring object, or there's a boogeyman in my dreams, and, something to that nature. Don't hesitate to ask the question so we know what's going on. And we should be able to help you get through that and give you a little bit of insight as to why you're seeing the boogeyman, the color, or whatever object that's sticking out for the most part. Hey, QG Green, we are doing, let's see, what has she got here? Okay, we are doing dream interpretations. So if you have something about dreams, we'll be more than happy to answer it. If you would like a psychic question, give us a call or reach out tomorrow on the psychic question, as we will be doing the psychic questions tomorrow. So on Thursdays, we do dream interpretation.
Okay. I thought I would just start out with common dream themes. In the meantime, does that work? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Perfect.
So one of the common dream themes is, let's say, dreams about cats and dogs. And, as everyone knows, dogs are very loyal. But wild dogs are very pack-oriented. So they aren't necessarily loyal, but they're more interested in behavior, in a social kind of behavior. And then, of course, what do people think about cats? That really, they just don't care. They have their own thing going on. Or, they're mystical animals. So I can bring up an example about, I was going to make a very important decision in my life, and that was to retire from a job that I had been very loyal to. And so, it was a really big decision. So what came into my dream was I had a dog on a leash, and the dog was growling at a grate. Was growling at a grate. And so what I thought of was I was very loyal, to this particular event in my life, but it was really grating on me. So, what it was saying, it might be time to go. So I went back to the office, and I thought about it just a little bit more. And, I thought, well, maybe let me just wait on this just a little bit. So a couple of nights later, I had a reoccurring dream, or a similar dream, but this time I was carrying a cat in my arms. Now, I mean, a lot of you are dog people. I happen to be a cat person. I understand the cat language. So this time, the dream world was saying, really? You didn't get it the first time? Let me tell you about this time. So I held the cat in my arms, and I was in the office. And this cat just went off, and it just sliced me. It sliced my arms, and I was bleeding all over the place. And the cat just went crazy. Get me out of here. So the next day I went to work and retired. I decided, thank you very much. It's time for me to leave. And so, then the parties began. But, that's kind of the symbolism that animals can bring. I've already talked about snakes. People have disturbing dreams about snakes. Snake in the grass. Yes. I kind of think of puns when describing dreams. But then again, snakes also represent healing. There's the Asclepius, or the what's that symbol that's on the side of an ambulance?
The medical?
Dear. It's that rod with.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that medical sign.
Mm-hmm.
And I just spaced out. So it's shedding skin, and it's healing, it's medicine. So I try to look for the messages in the dream story, in the dream images. It just depends on. Someone who is a dog person may have had the cat dream in the beginning, and then, well, let me tell you about it, and then it might have been reversed, depending on what language you're into. So that's there's a lot of animal dreams that will come through as messengers. Another common dream theme that has come up is driving a car. And a car, you kind of have to think about it logically. In waking life, a car gets you from point A to point B. In other words, you're not going to be getting into your car and driving next door. You're going to get into the car and you're going to drive from point A to point B. So what I would ask is, are you driving the car? Are you driven? How are you in control of getting from point A to point B? Are you driving recklessly? Are you out of control? So is whatever in waking life, is there a situation that is just out of control? Are you in the passenger seat? Are you you're kind of sitting beside the driver and you're being driven? You're being controlled, or you're being taken. So there's the negative connotation, and then there's the positive. You're following someone who may be in control, or are you being taken somewhere? Then there's, are you in the back seat? So in waking life, are you just kind of taking a back seat to the whole issue, just kind of chilling, just kind of cruising and just observing what's going on? And then there's dreams about a bus. So a bus, I would say in my, the world according to me, a bus is a big responsibility. You're taking a group of people, and so could it be in waking life a seminar, a study, a lecture, and are you trying to convince a lot of people and bring them along with you? Or are you driving someone along with you? So it's kind of a more of a responsibility, I would say. Have you lost your car? Have in waking life, are you lost? You know, is it difficult to get from point A to point B? Is the car is nowhere to be found and you're stuck? So in waking life, I would wonder, do you feel abandoned? Or do you feel stuck and not able to move forward? So those are, you know, just common dream themes, subjects that you could just ask, you know, what in waking life is resonating with being driven or driving.
Okay. Very neat. Very neat.
Absolutely. It's completely, you know, fascinating as to how dreams come about, you know, and what each little symbol means, not completing what you would see it in the real world as it means something completely different. So, you know, driving yourself to the next destination in your life instead of, you know, just driving around for, oh, I had to go to the grocery store. So we take these things for granted because we're so used to having these luxuries, but in our mind and in the dream state, it means so much more. As we take these things more simply.
Yeah, they speak in symbolisms. In dream language is not the same for everyone. You know, what I think of as a cat, you know, other people think that cats are aloof, independent, you know, really could give a rip. I mean, you know, really could care less. Whereas I think of cats as having a lot of, being very present. I think of cats as being very present to the moment. And so how a cat speaks to me is, like I said, very different. So it was saying, be very present in how you're thinking right now.
Right.
So, you know, you know, and like I said, with various animals, you kind of think about the nature of that particular animal and what is it trying to share? What is the characteristic that that animal is bringing forth? Let's say that something is very frightening and it's represented by a tiger. And, you know, tiger, when you see a tiger, it can be very, very frightening. And so the fear is symbolized by a tiger, or the fear is symbolized by, you know, a dinosaur, something really crazy.
Right.
You know, but then you think about the medicine that animal is bringing forth. So, you know, it's the communication from perhaps the animal realm. So I welcome dreams when, you know, animals are in them. Mm-hmm. Not so much bugs, but...
Well, even in your dream life, you still want to exterminate those.
Oh, my God. I mean,
well,
you know...
It depends. It depends.
I don't wear Depends.
Yeah.
I don't wear Depends.
Well,
yeah.
Marin, just so you know, the medical symbol that you were talking about is called a caduceus, or the staff of harmony.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah,
Cool.
I spaced out on that one. Yeah.
You don't keep up on your Latin? I mean, really?
You know, sometimes I'm just full of it, or full of symbols, you know. But yeah, so that's, you know, a lot of mythology is developed in dreams. And, you know, people throughout the ages have come up with dreams. And dreams also help to perhaps solve a problem or give a suggestion.
Absolutely.
I mean, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, you know, that story came through in a dream. There are architects that, you know, I can build this, but I just can't get it right. There's who made there's someone that made the sewing machine. The process of, you know, the two threads coming together, that came through in a dream. Let It Be.
Thomas Edison, the light bulb.
Thomas Edison. Paul McCartney, Let It Be. I think that song came through in a dream. So, you know, dream stories will I say the dream self, you know, because I like to kind of communicate with the dream self and the waking self, and we have a nice discussion together. I always say, you know, I'm talking to myself and I have a good time sometimes, you know. I'll start laughing at, So there'll be, you know, 3 of us, but there's 6 conversations going on. But anyway, so the dream self and the waking self, you know, there's a different language. And once we start understanding that language, then I think it really enriches, you know, how we see things and how we can solve things, and the warnings, you know, warnings that come through as well.
Absolutely.
And you know that thing where you're talking about when you were saying something about having conversations, multiple conversations with those that aren't with you or talking with yourselves. My grandmother always used to say is having conversation with a like-minded friend.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, being a writer, I have conversations with my characters. And the Marin will be familiar with this, so I don't think, Ryan, you will be. But Marin, do you remember Wendy Weirdwitch and the Sunflower Pumpkin?
Yes, I do. Yes.
That was
a delightful story.
Absolutely. That was a dream. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a dream.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. Sorry, Ryan. Yeah, so getting things from dreams, and Thomas Edison used to take naps, and he would sleep with 2 balls in his hands. And he would get into that hypnagogic state that we talked about last week. And when he would dream, or when he start to fall deeper into sleep, he would drop the balls because his body would relax, and he would wake up, and then when he would write down what he saw in his dreams.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that's how he got some of his inventions when he wasn't stealing from Tesla and everybody else.
Oh, well, we'll kind of move on now. You know, and that's that's the other thing about dream journaling, you know, because my thing is to become motivated, to become excited about this other realm. And I know that you folks deal with, you know, the psychic realm. I like to look at the dream realm and kind of what stories are coming forth. And so that's why I really do believe in journaling. Even if it's a short snippet, your mind is still focused on the dream image. And so, you know, waking up and journaling a sentence, a phrase, that kind of helps bring the dream forward. It makes me sad when people say, oh, it's just a dream, you know, whatever. And Or, you know, I kind of get stories like, hey, I had this dream and blah, blah. And then that's it, you know, and here I'm like, you know, I'm salivating. I want to get into that world. And it just kind of cuts it off, you know, or when someone says, and especially, and I, you know, if you have children, it's like a child will have a scary dream or will have some kind of dream within their age experience. And so if you tell them, oh, it's just a dream, you know, it's nothing, you know, I think that kind of closes the door in the psychic realm and in the dream realm. And because if you leave that door just ajar, you know, leave the door open a little bit and then just kind of ask questions. Well, what was that tree like? What did the lizard, what color was the lizard, you know? Did you feel the wind on your face? What was that like? Just kind of asking questions and developing that dream-like nature, or developing really your psychic ability, that the intuitiveness, the feeling into the other world. And that way, I think, you really connect with the authentic self. You know, you can really, something is just not quite right, and then you have a dream and all these symbols come up, and then it kind of further identifies it maybe. So anyway, that's why I love this subject.
Dreams are definitely interesting. I mean, I've been through, you know, a lot of books, like we said, we've gone through or were about dreams. You know, that's where people get a lot of ideas for certain things, and because of their mind, the way it processes the things that are going on in our everyday lives. So we find ways to, you know, try to interpret that in our own mind, and which is also a device to where you start to relax. And, you know, those who stop, and this was a study that was being done with the dream. I go to a sleep study, and I have a very hard time sleeping. So I go and get sleep studies done to kind of figure out what it is that's keeping me awake. It's my nervous system. My brain's still processing as fast as a regular person who's awake while I'm sleeping, which probably indicates why I have 9 million irons in the fire and not enough daylight to get it done. But the thing about it is that they were talking about all the different kinds of dreams that these people were having, and for those who weren't having dreams, they noticed heightened anxiety. They noticed that they were easily angered. If not, they woke up angry or they woke up fatigued. So there was a lot of things that they were noticing about, you know, not being able to get to that third level of sleep where you're in that dream state and you're feeling like you can process your daily stuff so you can relax.
Yes, absolutely.
So
yeah, that can be
very important.
Very disturbing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys out there that are listening to us, guys, gals, boys and girls, guys and gals. If you guys have any questions for us about dreams, and if you have a dream that you've been having, or there's something that's standing out in a dream, you'd like a little bit of information about it, please don't hesitate to send us a message on Facebook or YouTube Live. We also have calls in the call log. Remember tonight, guys, that all of the questions tonight are about dreams. All psychic readings will be saved for tomorrow, as we'll be having another show tomorrow. As we have every night, Monday through Friday. Thursday nights will be our dream interpreter night. We'll have Marin here helping us with those dreams. We're going to start off with Maggie with the great big old page full of stuff. Marin, you can see that, correct?
Okay. Yes, I can. standing on
It says, hi, Ryan and
can
Holly.
you read it though?
Hi, Ryan, Holly, and Marin.
Okay.
I had a dream on Saturday. On Saturday, 7/5/14.
In the dream, in the dream, I was standing on a bridge next to a concrete column, and I was asking them, if I take my own life, would it be okay? I took that as to ask God or the angels if it would be okay. And I'm sorry that you received a call that your father had died. You know, I'm really sorry about that. You know, sometimes the dream realm will come forth, and there is a connection with a loved one, and it does come forth as a message. I can say in my life, when my father passed, I had a dream of a wedding, and I only had 2 weeks to prepare for this wedding. And my father did pass 2 weeks later. So all I can say is sometimes the dream realm will come forth with a connection to our loved ones. And I don't know if it's like a warning, but it is some kind of connection. You know, when people start to cross over, they start to talk to relatives that have long passed away. They're starting to transition. And I'm just wondering, what I saw in that dream was asking God or asking the angels. And, you know, I'm wondering if, these are spiritual beings. And I'm wondering if that was a message of these are things that are being decided on. And, you know, hearing about that passing, you could be hearing about the transitioning. Those are really tough, and my heart is I'm so sorry about that. Those are really hard. I think what struck me in this dream is there was a bridge, and so I would think of crossing a bridge into another realm. I think that's kind of what struck me right from the start. But those transition dreams are really tough, and sometimes, you know, and I hate to say this, but sometimes we can't prevent these things. It's the dream realm that is giving you information on how to prepare your own internal spirit. I can also say that when my father was passing, and I you know, again, this is my psychic connection, so I appreciate that my story is not going to be too out there. But when my father was starting to transition into the other world, he hovered above his body and said, you know, what about my other relatives? You know, are they going to be okay with this? And you know, are you going to be okay with this? And I basically said, it's time. I think you should go, you know? And that's really hard. I mean, sometimes we just have to let it go. We just have to let it go and say our prayers and say the angels, you know, will take you. May the angels comfort you, you know. So that's a tough one. That's a real tough one, and I'm so sorry. That really brings up a lot. I hope I somehow answered it a little bit, but
yeah, she said thank you, and she says letting go is hard. And Jessica, she had a question here. She says, why is it that most of her dreams are bad? How come most of the dreams she sees that she's seeing is a bad dream? Because I noticed that a lot too with people. I had heard a lot of people say that most of the dreams, when they have dreams, it's the bad ones that they're remembering. It's not the good ones that they're remembering.
well, again, there are bad dreams, but like most of my dreams are people. Okay. So I tend to look at the medicine of the dream. And so when I'm having a bad dream about something, I'm thinking in my waking life, am I the one that's worried? Am I the one that is really feeling anxious about this particular situation? And then the dream is coming forth to process that anxiousness. But then again, is it a dream that says, you know, again, it depends on the context. Does that person need to go to a doctor? Is a bad dream that there's an illness? So I would look at, is there a doctor that needs to be involved? Is it a bad dream? You know, what is the context of the dream? And like I think I saw another, something that just went by about having bad dreams that people you love get hurt. And so I'm wondering, is it that anxiousness, you know, that you just love them so much and you just don't want to let go and you want them to be safe. And that in itself is kind of a mindset. And then the dream world will process out that anxiety. And so sometimes we wake up to, oh my God, you know, I'm feeling like this about this situation. What is that all about? Okay, inhale, breathe, or see a doctor, or see a therapist. I mean, there are therapists out there that are very skilled in dream language. And so if a psychiatrist or a therapist, psychologist can understand the dream images, then a lot more will come out. But if it's something that you can journal about, and you know, what situation is the person in, you know, and that will kind of lead into, oh, okay, I'm feeling anxious about this particular issue. Okay, I had a dream twice in the same month that I ran off the road in the snow into a lake and couldn't get my kids out of the car. Okay, so again, I think going off the road, you know, in a car, going from A to B. So I would wonder, what is it about, I mean, you know, I'm just going to say sometimes a dream is parts of ourselves. What is it about me as a child that cannot get out of a car? What is it about my young self, perhaps, that is now drowning in a lake? So, and so sometimes I think about, what does that image look like? And, I would talk about the car. I would wonder about, okay, what is the car doing? And is there someone inside, and what does that feel like? Now that can be kind of anxiety provoking. So I would kind of work that out just piece by piece. And then when you can re-enter the dream, you can actually change the scenario. And that's part of the lucidity of a dream. If you can go back into the dream, you're seeing the road, and you're starting to slip off, and then wake up. Okay, next time you're in the dream, you're driving down the road, and now you're watching. I mean, are you an observer? So if the car goes into the lake and you can't get the kids out, then wake up and then think of a way of reimagining. Go back into the dream and reimagine.
There will be a time when you're not on the road anymore. So that's actually a way of reimagining the dream story. Journaling about it. What is anxious? What has you anxious about this particular situation? That feeling trapped in a vehicle that is supposed to take you somewhere, but not being able to get out. So what I would do is reimagine on how to get out, how to drive down that road, and how not to drive off the road, and then going down a completely different road. And maybe the snow, imagining the trees, imagining a winter wonderland, imagining something that is fun. So that is a transition on how to work out this kind of very scary dream. It is definitely a scary dream. But again, I do look at the medicine. What is it trying to say to me? And how can I reimagine it to make things okay? There's a lot of dreams by first responders and people who have tried to rescue people from a burning building. And there are dream groups where there's dream therapy. And so this person was trying to rescue people out of a fire building that was on fire, and was running down the hallway and could not find the fire hose. So going back into the dream, the person ran down the hall, saw the fire hose, but couldn't reach it. Then the next dream, this is working the dream, constantly working the dream. Finally, that person was able to get the fire hose and sound the alarm. And ultimately, after, a lot of working on this dream, the person was able to successfully get everybody out of the building. So these trauma dreams, you can, go back into it, reimagine it, come up with a story that will, hopefully get the edge off And thus a solution will happen. And that's what I mean by working the dream and finding the medicine of the dream. There's obviously some kind of waking trauma or waking life uncomfortableness. And that's why the dream allows the waking self to be aware of it. It's like, you're having this dream about this scary issue. So let's talk about this. The dream self is saying, it's still there. You might say, oh, I'm fine, but it's still there. So now how to reimagine, to bring it forth and bring the medicine that the dream self is trying to give you. Thank you. I just saw a comment that said reimagining the dream. I really hope that helps.
All right, yeah, okay. I'm just trying to make sure we're having some technical difficulties on the radio. We're having some technical difficulties on the radio side.
Oh dear.
Hang on, Holly's mic is muted. Holly, unmute.
Okay. I mean, does that kind of make sense?
Holly, unmute your mic. Holly, unmute your mic.
Good.
Sorry, guys, we're having a tech problem here.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so, what I like to do is I think of these dream images at first, literally. So when you're trying to choose something, are you chewing over an idea? Do you need to spit it out? When you use your teeth to chew, you are, swallowing nutrition. You're able to eat food. But now that ability to acquire nutrition is being compromised by the teeth falling out. Are these ideas falling out? Is it something that needs to be spit out? Yes.
Marin, unmute your mic on your computer.
She's unmuted. We can hear her fine. It's you that was muted.
Oh,
just never mind then. Don't. Okay.
I got you.
Never mind, Marin.
okay. So I just put the sound off on my computer. Is that right?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that part.
Keep going.
We're having a tech problem.
Good.
We're trying to solve it.
Okay. So so like I said, I just love teeth dreams. Chewing things over, needing to spit it out. What ideas, because we use our mouth to speak, what ideas are just falling out. And so, I would wonder, what is it in waking life that either nutrition isn't being able to come in, or does something need to be actually spit out, or do you need to chew things over? Is there something in waking life that, I'm not quite sure about this. Let me chew it over. Or are you trying to express something and the teeth just keep falling out? The ideas just keep falling out. So I would journal about that and kind of ask, what in waking life do I need to chew over? what in waking life are ideas just falling out of my mouth? Or is it something I just need to spit out?
Sorry, guys, we're having a little bit of tech problems.
I hope that helps.
We're definitely working on it. Yeah, it
Yeah,
definitely
that helped
worked.
a lot, Marin. Absolutely.
Oh,
Shauna,
absolutely.
did that help you with your question? Okay. So let me see who else has a question for us.
I got that.
Eugene's got a question
Hang on.
for us.
I got it.
There we go. Can you see that, Marin?
Okay, a dream last night. Driving in town, police directing traffic. Asked me to keep away the high school. Could I get home? So avoiding high school. I said, yes, if I go the back way. Suddenly I realized I was literally in town. I moved from. Wait, officer, this isn't where I live. Need to go to the store west of here, 60 miles north to get home. He said, hon, you're right. This isn't home anymore. Okay. So you're back in town that you left almost 2 years ago. Wait, officer, this isn't where I live. Okay, so, and asked me to keep away from the high school. And there was authority. There was an authority figure directing traffic. So directing,
directing. I wonder what happened in high school that perhaps was being revisited
Unmuted.
and needs to avoid. High school is, when I think about a high school, I think about that's a time when it's kind of cliquish, that it's you're trying to make friends and you're trying to belong. And so I would wonder, what is it in high school that maybe is being revisited, but perhaps should not be? And there is an authority that is helping to redirect. And yet, back into a home. So that's why I'm wondering, what are you going back to that an authority figure or someone that is helpful is saying, maybe you shouldn't go that direction? So that's kind of what I would think about. And I'm sorry, I'm just seeing this. I had a profound dream in my teens. I viewed, fast forward, every nationality. I saw all the animals and plants on earth rushing by, and as an observer, I saw God waking up from his or her. This profoundly affected me. Oh my gosh, that is quite profound. I viewed, fast forward, every nationality, whether rich, poor, ill, or healthy. I saw all the animals and plants on earth rushing by. I would look at that dream as a gift, as here's what the essence of life is. And it kind of reminds me of the spider dream, welcoming to the web of life, welcoming to all the aspects and all the essences of the earth and of life, and and also there's rich and poor, ill or healthy. That is a balance in itself. I saw all the animals and plants on earth rushing by, and God waking up. So I'm wondering, when a spiritual being is waking up, What is it about our own selves that is waking up to the essence of life, to the essence of people, of places? What can we appreciate about their background? What about the people who are of different nationalities? What gifts can they bring forward to show the native people, the different cultures? What can we appreciate about those things? And all the plants and animals. I think about the goddess, the Gaia, the Mother Earth, embracing, the earth. And then a spiritual being that's waking up. We all have God within us. We are all spiritual beings. So what is it about ourselves that is waking up to life, that is waking up to diversity? That's amazing. That's a beautiful dream. Thank you for bringing that forth. I hope that resonated somehow.
All right. It sounded like it did. So, I mean, I felt the connection there, and we're working on some weird tech problems. So just bear with us as we go through them. And I'm going to shine those other. I'm going to shine those other. Okay,
That was
I
wonderful,
was just
Marin.
talking about tech problems, and then now things are getting muted, unmuted. It's getting weird. But,
It's getting really weird.
There's tons of that.
Tech realm.
It's a ton of it. I don't know what's going on.
Trying to communicate.
It's just like, wow.
I don't know, but
Beautiful.
Oh, you're coming through.
Go
All right,
ahead, Marin.
hang on.
Oh, well, these are very beautiful images. I do appreciate them coming forward.
All right, guys, let's do this. Music or Blog Talk people. My voice will not be able to be heard anymore, so Holly will have to repeat what I say. As the tech problems are continuing, I'm not sure I'm not going to be able to fix it in the last 7 minutes of the show. You'll still be able to hear, but you won't be able to hear my voice. So if you want to hear my voice, you can go check us out on Facebook or on YouTube right now. Okay? But other than that, Holly's voice and Marin's voice, you guys will be able to hear them, but it's me that'll be muted.
Muted.
Oh, dear. Okay.
So
Yeah, we're having a
people
tech
on
problem.
Blog Talk, we're having some technical difficulties. And Ryan's voice is going to be not with us for the rest of the show. It got booed off somehow. So you will still be hearing me and Marin. Ryan will tell me what to say on his behalf, and I will repeat it as best as I can.
Don't repeat word for word, though.
I can't hear you at all now. Did you mute your
Oh,
mic?
dear.
You need to turn up your volume.
What?
Hang on. What?
Okay. First syllable.
We're playing charades now.
Unmuted.
Okay, maybe we can do it this way. I just kind of cross-wired a few things, and I'm pretty sure the radio people can hear. You can hear me now on the radio, correct?
This is the part where I wish I could read sign language.
Me too, because I can't hear a word he's saying.
You can hear me on the radio now, correct?
Okay, yes. I can hear you now.
I fixed the problem, and voila, we're back. So now you can hear my voice, and you guys don't have to worry about that part. Just so I had to log in as a guest and do all that wonderful stuff and mash buttons and make it work. But we did have some more here, so I'm pretty sure they don't want to hear about all the tech problems. But the thing is with Hannah, you're going to be our last question for the evening. And it has been so fascinating listening to everything that you've had shared with us so far this evening. And, of course, you're going to continue to keep sharing more information with us on Thursday nights. We're so thankful for you joining us here. So we want to show our appreciation by saying thank you. I did want to put that question up for you. It says, I had a dream that my babies I lost in pregnancy were with my father in heaven, and he was sitting and rocking them. Sounds interesting.
I have chills. I mean, was the pregnancy lost in waking life? That's what I was wondering. I can share that I have had women tell me about miscarriages and different instances where they've lost their child in waking life, and they were indeed with their loved one. They were indeed with their grandparents and the relatives who have passed. And I absolutely love those dreams. They're just so loving, and it's a message from the dream realm that it's okay, it's all right. They're being taken care of. They're loved. There's a lot of love in the dream realm. There's the visitations and that kind of thing. But it's just such a beautiful message of they're being loved, they're being cared for. Don't worry, So that's a gorgeous, gorgeous dream. Thank you for bringing that forward.
All right.
Yeah,
Just making sure all the microphones are working, just so everybody can hear me.
Okay.
It's been this night where I've been watching like these little tech glitches just pop up everywhere, and then the radio system saying I'm logged in, I'm taking calls, and I'm like, I'm not logged in. You just booted me out.
Oh dear.
It's one of those nights. It's okay.
Well,
Story of my life today.
it's the dream realm crossing over into the waking realm is what's
into
happening.
the tech realm.
Right.
Yes.
The little
The
tech,
mic-
those little
microphone.
gremlins. Little tech
Microphone
gremlins.
realm. But I just wanted to end with this, just that kind of space, whether or not you believe in it or whatever, there are visitations, there are communications from loved ones that have passed, and they're mostly of pure love. People who've passed are now in nirvana. They're now in the lightness of spirit. And so what I think about is when I get a visitation or I am seeing someone on the other side, it is coming from a place of love. When I see or when I experience a dream that has a disturbing part of someone who has passed, I tend to think of it as my own ego. I tend to think of it as my own version of whatever the issue is. Because, and again, this is the world according to me. When people have passed over, it is pureness of love. There is no hooks, there's no ego, there's just the pureness of love spirit. So anyway, that's what I wanted to end with. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming
I hope
on
that makes sense.
and having such a wonderful time here with us. Like I said, every Thursday night, you guys. Now, we are going to be off next week for the Thanksgiving holiday. We are in the U.S., so we do give thanks on that day and spend time with our families, whether it be through telephone, Zoom, or those within our home. We try to take it the safest way possible. So remember that when you guys are going out this year and you're doing your shopping and the things that you would want to do to make it a normal year for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Remember, it isn't a normal year. This is one of those things where we have to take one for the team. And if we can do that this year, we won't have to repeat it next year. Remember, we're here to help each other. And if we can do that, we do it with responsibility. And if we can do it with the responsibility, we'll get through the tough time quicker if we work together than we do if we're separate. So remember that, because guess what? If you don't like it this year, you're really going to hate it next year. Just remember that. That's like a little tidbit. Just
So
know.
true.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
And there went the microphones again. So let me do this. Let's do this. I'm still on, so you can still hear me.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It looks like we have just
Can you hear me?
gotten kicked off of Blog Talk Radio again. This is Holly.
Um,
And
Okay, all the calls have dropped.
no one can hear anybody
Apparently,
except
major
me.
malfunction.
So,
Major malfunction. Turn up your
I'm
volume.
so sorry.
No. There, yes. Volume. Turn up your volume.
Yeah.
up.
Turn up the volume on your computer. Hi.
I. Who are you?
Me, as usual.
Talking to?
Who's he shouting at? Me.
Okay.
That's who.
Oh, yeah. That's so unfortunate. It just kind of went off there.